So Julius, sophomore running back. It's 2022 stats. Let me just read it right here. 131 carries, rushing for 932 yards, 8 touchdowns. From Creek High School in Houston, Texas. Uh, yeah. So you're from Houston. You go to school in New York. What's like the biggest difference that you notice? Like, obviously Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas, is very different from New York, New York. But what was like the biggest thing transitioning to the school for you?
In Houston, I went to a pretty small public school. Like, it was big and like it would be considered big here, but it was kind of small back where I am.
Mm-hmm.
But here is like just real like gated private school. So just really that is just kind of the biggest difference, just public school to private school.
Yeah, so like talking about that transition, that big difference, as you said, who was it that like kind of took you under their wing when you came in? Was it a Coach Linehan last year, like one of the veterans like Trey Sneed who's been around the block a couple times, or somebody else?
Trey Wilson, he's a senior. He was a senior running back last year. He kind of just he's my closest friend on the team right now. He just told me how everything would go with like football and then with school and everything. He always helped me out with things I needed and just was a good communicator with things that was going around Fordham.
Okay. And then just talking about coaches, obviously Coach Linehan was here last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Coach Banks, what was that like transition like? Obviously, it's not hard, but it's going from one position coach to another is different. What was that like transition like when Coach Banks came in?
I had a great relationship with both coaches. I feel like they both did a great job. Linehan last year and Banks this year. Linehan's still on the team and everything. He's just coaching DBs now, so I still see him all the time, talk to him about stuff. He always talks about how he wishes he could still be coaching running backs and everything. But me and Banks are still like we have a good thing going, and yeah. So
okay. And then obviously, I mean, you've had success under both coaches. This last season's stats show it. Do you have like, talking about your performance on the field, do you have like a favorite game of yours this season that you can remember?
Trying to think. I really enjoyed, was it Stony Brook? I think that was the game I had 2 touchdowns in.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably one of my favorites. Also really enjoyed Albany, the homecoming game. That was really fun.
Helmet ripped off on that play. Yeah, that was going to be my second question. If you had a favorite play of the season.
Favorite play this season for sure was, it honestly wasn't me. It was Mackay catching that touchdown against Holy Cross to tie it up going into halftime.
Okay.
So,
and then I guess Holy Cross, but do you have a team that like you like to play against the most? Like when it's that week, you can feel the vibes different in the locker room. You can feel like the energy is just, it's a different type of energy because it's like the game.
Holy Cross for sure. Colgate, because it's the last game of the regular season. We always want to just finish strong against them. And Lafayette, they always try and come and play us a little hard, so we just gotta lock in for that week as well. But we lock in for every week for sure. But
yeah.
Those are the 3 like big games. We're like, okay, like it's time. So
what gets you going like before a game? Like what do you listen to? What do you like? What music do you have going? Like how do you psych yourself out before a game?
I listen to a lot of Lucky. I listen to Yeet. I listen to just like a lot of trap music and everything. And before games, I'm never really too nervous or anything. I'm just cool. I'm just me most of the time. So like I'm just trying to make sure my teammates are straight before we go out there and everything.
Okay. And then I guess just talking about like your past growing up, were you always a running back, or like coming up playing Pop Warner ball in high school? Were you always a running back, or?
So I started playing football in 7th grade. My parents wouldn't let me play until like I got to middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to always like playing like recess and stuff. I used to always be like, hey, like, Dad, like I'm not bad at football. I could like I'm doing this at recess. And he's like, all right, whatever. Like you just doing stuff at recess. And then he finally let me play 7th grade because it was like team and everything, like actually like school and everything. And I made A team. And he was like, all right, you can't be terrible if you made A team. And we lost every game that year, but the one game that we won, I scored 3 touchdowns and had like 200 yards. But yeah, I've always played running back, and then like for a little bit I played cornerback, but that was until like freshman year, and ever since then I've been playing running back like my whole life.
Okay. In Texas, is middle school 7th and 8th grade, or is it
6th, 7th, 8th, but
Sixth,
they don't start playing sports until 7th and 8th.
Okay.
In Texas.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that so you kind of found your way to football on your own. It wasn't like something that your parents showed you. It was you, or did you have somebody that introduced you to football?
Well, I have a lot of uncles and like great family friends that all played and everything. I have my uncle. He played at Prairie View and UTEP, and I have another uncle. He also played at Prairie View, A&M. And I have another great family friend. He played running back at Tulane. He backed up Matt Forte when he was there. There's a lot of like football in the family, but or just in the making. But my dad didn't play. My dad played baseball. So and my mom, she ran track for a little bit, but she wasn't that good. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandma, she was a really good athlete too. She held a bunch of school records in track and everything, but then she had a kid and just started taking work seriously and everything. But I come from a pretty decent athletic background as well. So.
Okay. I guess just building off of that, did you play other sports other than football growing up?
I ran track, tried baseball, got hit in the face a couple times when I was a kid, didn't want to play no more. I ran track in high school, did pretty good. My junior year.
What was your event?
I ran open 1, open 2, ran 400 for a while. Then I started doing relays, and then I threw shot put as well.
Okay.
My senior year, I went to regionals and everything. Didn't make state, sorry. But Texas is fast, so.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Texas high school football in Texas, is it like I hear stories like obviously high school footballs in Texas is like pro football in other places. Like is that true?
Yeah, it's definitely completely different than what I like see here. Like a lot of things I see here I've seen a lot just growing up playing Texas or playing football down there. So, but football is football anywhere, and it's always going to be competitive. But I feel like the level of 6A Texas high school football is
that the highest class? Yeah,
I think that's the highest. Like it's going to be for a while, unless you're like private school ball or everything like that. But that like public school ball for like 6A Texas high school football is like number one for sure.
They have it separated, right? Like private schools play against private schools and public. Okay. Yeah. Was football a year-round thing there? Like I know because I'm from California. If it wasn't football season, it was 7-on season. Was it the same way in Texas?
Yeah. So my school, we had spring ball and everything as well.
Okay.
So we'd have football in the fall. And start up track in this winter, springtime. Then middle of track season, go back to during the round track season as well. We start up like 7-on-7 and everything, and then springtime we start up spring ball. Track will be ending around. Depends on if you're making it deep. Like state wasn't until like first week of May, so that's around the same time spring ball ended, and then school's out. So and you're starting up summer workouts.
And then it just starts up over again. So it's like right now, kind of like last couple months. What would you say is the quietest part of your off season here?
The quietest part,
like I'm sure you're doing work like the whole year round. That's just how it is as a college athlete. But
I think just Christmas break. When we did when the football season was over, like the 2022 season, I got to go home for a little bit. Just hang with the fam and everything. That was the first time I had been home since summer. So I feel like that was the quietest part from football. But getting back up here, we're always working. We're always trying to just do stuff. We're not doing stuff with the coaches. Always trying to do things like as a team, or me just doing things myself. So
yourself, like in Ram Fit or
Ram Fit or just on the field myself. Just trying to just get some extra hours in.
Do you have like a teammate that you'll go with, like to the field or just to the weight room, just kind of get your own work in, or do you like to work alone? Like when it comes to just getting your own work in.
Weightlifting, I like to work alone, but like doing like drills and stuff, I always go run routes with like CJ or Makai, MJ when he is healthy and everything, and other receivers on the team for sure. But living with them, like we're always just like, hey, let's go hit the field real quick and go hit the field for a couple hours and then just go back to the crib.
That's all right. Just shifting gears a little bit, like as a running back, what would you say like the most underrated aspect of your game is? Like from the film that I've seen, from the games that I've watched, like you're getting the ball, like you're running in between the tackles, like you're just taking the ball. But what would you say is like an aspect of your game that really isn't appreciated by fans, like that you think you do well or like just goes unnoticed?
I would say just my home run ability. Just playing running back, you really have the ability to make a big play whenever like something's just set up right, or if you just break the right tackle and just go. It's always really the ball's in your court. So I like that aspect, and I feel like I do a good job of making those big plays and everything. I feel like the fans think that too. So.
Yeah. Is that your favorite part of the position? Like having that opportunity to make those big plays?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love going out there and making plays. It's literally one of the main reasons I go out there and play football. It's like just really about having fun and everything. I feel like having the most fun is when I'm out there making defenses look silly. So.
In your time here, like where would you say you've grown the most as a player? Like just in the past 2 years, where have you seen the most growth, like in your game?
Probably just as a teammate, really. I've always tried to, be the best teammate, but I feel like you can always just be better at something. Just so like being more supportive to my teammates and like trying to help out with things that they need, or like just I know I was the youngest guy in the room this year, but a lot of like younger guys were looking up to me. Mm-hmm. I feel like in high school I didn't do like a well enough job of just like trying to like help them with things that they needed. So this year I feel like I did a much better job of just helping the younger guys in the room that are older than me technically. So.
Yeah. Do you have like a freshman that you've like taken under your wing, so to speak?
Yeah. All the backs from this year: Chris Shaw, Jack Kaiser, Mason Hatfield. Yeah. Jack Kaiser the most. Me and him talk quite often. Just him. He's a really good back, but a lot of times like he just gets down on himself and everything. So we just have that communication and like build him back up again and like just make him play the way that he is. He got out there this year. He scored his first collegiate touchdown and everything. I was so happy for him against Bucknell when we went up really big in the second half and everything. So, but yeah.
And then just going off of like that locker room culture, like would you say that's something that's like unique to the running backs, or is that all across the team? Like could you go to like the wide receiver room and they'll like be able to pick you up the same way a lineman would be able to pick you up? Or even a DB, like you could just start talking to them, like if you're just like in your own head or you need like that kind of motivation.
I definitely think it was a full team thing. I always just the same way I was trying to be to Jack and Shaw and Mason. Trey was like that to me. Both Trey, Sneeds, and Wilson. Steve was like that to me. MJ was always like that to me, and we always were trying to just help each other, pick each other up, and just be able to play our best football. Football is a lot more mental than physical, so. You have to be in the right headspace for a lot of things, and when you're like constantly, trying to, it's a long season, so you go through a lot, and things at home probably happen, things here probably happen. You get upset. It's a very emotional game, so the teammates really like help you keep your emotions in check and everything most of the time. So.
Going off of that emotion part, like, is there anything that you do personally, like aside from like the help that you get from your teammates, coaches, anybody else, like your friends? That you do for yourself, like to kind of ground yourself, like when you're kind of struggling or like you're just having a bad week, like
naps. I'm a big believer in naps, man. You're not really your best self if you're over here trying to just work yourself while you're tired. So I feel like nap when you can. Like don't like just nap and like forget to do things or anything. But like if you have free time, like definitely I just like to squeeze in a little nap, like 30, 45
You ever
minutes.
like nap in the locker room? Just like
for sure, all the time. But like I do, like, if I have, like, some free time or something, I'll try and, like, go nap in, like, the crib or something, or in the locker room, whichever is easier.
So, I mean, just, like, walk us through your day now. Like, naps are a big part to you. Like, are you getting up early? Like, I don't know really the football team's schedule, like, practice-wise and stuff, but, like, is it 6 a.m. to, like, a 9 p.m. day, or, like, just what's it like?
Yeah, so, right now, like, these past 3 weeks, we've been having mat drills and everything. So Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, we've had to wake up for 6 a.m.s and everything. And Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we have lift every day at 3:30. So I'd have the mat drill or whatever in the morning, go to class or whatever, have a little free time, go to lift, then have really the rest of the day if we don't have like meetings or something like that. So yeah, I just try and work my naps into that schedule.
Yeah. What about in the summer? Like when it's just football, like all day, every day, like during camp week and stuff?
During camp, for sure, like we'll have practice, then we'll have a little time off, like, and then like it'll be practice, lunch, rest, meeting, walkthrough, whatever. So like you have a little bit more free time as well, like to just get a nap in or something, or like just some downtime to just be to yourself. Because I know like being around football a lot is very challenging and everything, so you got to take advantage of those rests that you do get.
Yeah. So like when you do have like that free time to yourself, aside from naps, like what is it that you like to do? Like, are you a video game guy? Like,
I used to be.
what was
I
your game?
stopped. I was a big Call of Duty guy, but me and my boys back at the crib, especially like during COVID and everything, we were on the game all day. I stopped because I definitely was letting it get too out of control. I was just playing all day. But now, I watch like streamers or like YouTubers or everything. I'm still a kid. I like try and pick up a new TV show or watch a movie or something. I'm big on anime and stuff like that too. So, like read a manga or something.
And then I guess just like going off of that, like interests, if like, I mean, switching gears entirely, if you could like just pick not any player on the team, but like just any running back ever, like who would you say you model your game after? Like if you want to like sit down with somebody and like watch some film with them, like who do you feel like your game, like obviously your own, you're the one and only, like you're one of one, you're Julius Loughridge, but like who do you feel you could like look up to and like take parts of their game and like translate it to you and like tools that they have that you think you could like work into your own repertoire?
I like old school backs, man. New school backs are cool too, but
like runners, not like the new hybrid. Like
okay. But for a long time, I've been a big fan of like Bo Jackson and like Walter Payton, but I mostly try to model my game after Bo. But new year guys, I like Zeke for sure, Ezekiel Elliott, because I'm a big Ohio State guy. So like watching him like, 2014, 2015, just going crazy around that time. He was the reason why I wanted to wear number 15 in high school and everything. I'm gonna be wearing it next year as well. So yeah.
You were 30 last year, right?
Yeah.
How'd that Ohio State thing? Like, you were a fan of Ohio State? You have family there, or you just?
My dad's from Columbus. My dad and my grandparents are from Columbus. So, just that whole side of the family. I just big Ohio State fans and everything. So when we played Ohio this year, they all came out to the game and everything. So
that must have been nice.
Yeah, it was really exciting to see a lot of them for the first time in a long time too with COVID and everything. I hadn't seen a lot of them since before then. So being able to see them was, really special.
That's cool. Does your family come to a lot of your games like here? Or?
Yeah, my dad and my uncle, they try to come to a lot. My mom, she flew up here a couple times, but she missed a couple games because like the times that she came up here, like the first game of the season, she tried to come, but we played on a Thursday and she flew in that Friday.
That was Wagner, right?
Yeah. So it was like a weird schedule with that because that was Labor Day weekend, so she thought she was gonna have like a whole weekend, but we just did things instead of that. But all the games are streamed or anything, so I have a lot of family back home just tuning in, watching and everything. They're always like texting me like mid-game, like I could respond like, hey, like nice run or something. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I have like family friends up here that are always watching me and everything. Yeah.
Going off of that, like, do you have teammates from high school that like you still keep, like, who are still playing, that you keep up with, like, who are playing elsewhere, like they're watching you, you're watching them?
Yeah. My quarterback from high school, my boy Jace Wilson, he was at Furman University for a while. He just transferred to Texas Southern. I talk to him just about every game, just seeing how he's doing. Close friends with this DB named Alpha Khan at UTSA. Joseph Kenyak at Texas Tech. Ahmed Thomas, he's playing at Texas Lutheran. I have a lot of football friends, right? Still around and everything. So just try and stay in touch with everyone from high school.
Just going through like now the 24 hours leading up to a game, like aside from like the position group meetings, like the walkthrough periods, like the team dinners and like the transportation, like bus and plane or whatever, like what is it that you do like to get yourself ready? Like you a big music guy, you like to talk, like let the nerves out, like
listening to music is kind of cool, but again, like I don't really get too nervous or anxious before games. I'm really just chilling most of the time. Just if we're like in a hotel or something, just traveling, I'm always cracking jokes or whatever, so just being funny. But I don't try not to like let it get too carried away, because I know some people are trying to lock in or whatever, but I definitely enjoy a good laugh or two, so that's what I'm mostly trying to do, just laugh.
Yeah, so like I used to be on the baseball team. The roommates were assigned. Was it the same way the football team? Like your roommates and who you sat next to on the plane and bus, or just
not on the plane and bus, but the roommates were assigned for sure. Most of the year I was with Sneed, a couple games I was with Jack Kaiser, and a couple games I was with Trey Wilson. So
Okay. And who do you sit next to, like, on the bus? Like,
I like sitting by myself.
you do? You're in the back of the bus, front of the bus? Where
I sit more in the front because everyone tries to sit in the back, and I sit like the coaches sit like right, like they have like a set like seat where the coaches' buses or the coaches' seats stop, and I try and get like right there so like no one sits next to me or whatever.
Yeah. Having all that space must be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess just like a couple lighter questions before we go. Time's almost up here. But like, so we hear like at the station, like on the call and stuff, like we'll refer to you as Juice. Like, is there another nickname that they have for you on the team?
They call me Juice.
They call you Juice? How'd that happen? Is it just Julius or?
I had a coach in 7th grade, or not 7th grade, 8th grade, and Coach Barron, he used to always think of like a nickname to call me, and he called me Jules and Juice, and it just stuck. My dad started calling me that, and then like, you know, at Fordham they have like the Juice box and everything for like certain plays and everything, and Coach Decker last year, he was just calling me J-Bone, and he was like, is there any other nicknames that you have? And I was like, yeah, people call me Juice like with like football and everything. He's like, oh, Juice, I like that. And everyone just started calling me Juice, and everyone just chants Juice all the time around here too. So I just kind of fit and just stuck. So,
have you had an experience like walking around campus and like you'll just see like a student or a fan just like go, oh, it's Juice?
A couple times, but it's more teammates than that. They're always like being extremely loud, just like Juice, and like more students are like, who is that? Why are they screaming right now? So it's kind of fun.
And then I guess just like, so this is, you're not going back to Houston for break, but like if you were, you're a Houston guy, what's that first stop that you have, like when you get home from the airport, like what's the place you have to go, like get some food from?
It's one of two places, okay? I'm going to Whataburger, and I am getting a honey butter chicken biscuit, or I am going to Shipley's Donuts, and I am getting me, I wouldn't get a dozen, but I'll probably get myself a half dozen glazed donuts. Like Shipley's Donuts, like, I know a lot of y'all are like Krispy Kreme lovers, or Dunkin', but Shipley's is chef's kiss. Is like so good. And Whataburger, that honey butter chicken biscuit, there's not a lot of foods that are better than that honey butter chicken biscuit, especially like late at night or something, getting off that plane. Like they only serve it for breakfast time, but breakfast time opens up around like midnight for Houston. It's 24 hours. So like a lot of late nights, I'll just be like chilling at the crib. I'll be like, dang, kind of hungry. Hop in the car, go to Whataburger real quick, give you a honey butter chicken biscuit, and just chill there or whatever, or like go hang with some friends or something. So
what about around here? Like, you a big cafeteria guy? Like, or on campus? Do you live on campus?
I do.
Yeah. So like, what's your spot to go here and then just like off campus?
I mean, we go in the caf all the time. Just you know, a lot of the just teammates are in there all the time, or I'm always just in there sitting with some different friends or something. But I like Urban. They got the chicken and rice bowls. I like those. I'm a big chicken tender guy. And they always have, the chicken tenders are always fresh there, and they're always quick to get them out. So that's cool. And then outside of campus, me and CJ just went and got tacos literally like an hour ago. I can't remember the name of the spot, but I go there all the time. It's so good. It's not Estrelitas though, but it's not too far. And then also like Rams, you know, I go there quite often. So yeah, those are mine. You
mentioned CJ, so he just transferred in this semester. Like, what was it like? You live with him, you said, right? What was it like, kind of being that? So as his roommate, you're kind of like the first person he sees, like first person he gets to know. Like, was it easy to get him to open up? Was he shy at first? Like, just talk us to him about CJ.
He's very just open and everything. I think that's also just him being from Cali, like just SoCal. He just very just bright and everything. So, me and him we've gotten along pretty well so far. Just a good relationship between me and him. You know, just good chemistry, just trying to develop it and everything. And we both have the same goal. We want to go out there and just be great football players and go out there and, you know, help bring Fordham championships and everything. So I feel like we're both going to get along great if those are our goals, you know, and everything. So
that's a good note to leave it on. Is there anybody you want to shout out, like, before we go? Just
shout out my mom, my sisters, my dad. You know, my dad's my number one fan. Mom is too. But you know, all the friends and family back at home and friends and family on campus.
All right. Perfect. That'll wrap it up with this athlete spotlight on running back Julius Loughridge. Thank you for your time so much. Also, big shout out to our producer, Julia Moss.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, Julia.